Good morning and welcome to the next lecture of this CTQ in RCC. So let's see the question first of all. This is a continuous T-beam. We will discuss today the question of a T-beam. The beam is continuous. What will be the meaning of a continuous T-beam? We will discuss. Is used for an effective span of 12 meter and flange width is 2500 mm. See, L effective is 12 meter of the continuous beam. Flange width will be this value. This is 2500. Flange thickness, this value we will call it capital B, width of the flange. This value is effective, this value is the depth of flange, 160 mm. Flange thickness, effective depth is 800 mm. From this point to this point, this is 800 mm. Effective cover is 100 mm. That will be this value, 100 mm. Width of web is 500 mm. This value. This is called BW. This is 500 mm. Area of steel are 12 number of 28 mm dia. These are 3 layer of 12 number of 28 mm dia. We will calculate the values according to this. 12 mm of 28 mm diameter. M25 concrete and Fe500 steel are used, and we have to calculate that what will be the ultimate moment of resistance of the section. This section can take how much maximum moment? Mu will be what? Ultimate moment of resistance of this section. So before solving this question, let's understand some basics of a T-beam. Let me show you some figure. We will draw this figure again later on. Okay. See here, this is a T-beam. Initial shape of T-beam will be like this. Bend shape will be like this. If the beam is bent, the beam will bend and tension will be developed in this web portion and flange will become in compression. Generally, when you provide the flange at top and the beam bends like this, however, in some portion, the flange may be in tension also. Suppose it get hogging bending moment. In that case, the flange may become in tension also and web may become in compression also. In this case, if the beam bends in this manner as shown in this figure, then the tension will be developed in bottom portion web and compression will be at top. So for this type of bending, we have to calculate what will be the moment of resistance of the section. Let me show you what will be the type of a continuous beam. See, this may be a continuous beam. In this beam, if the supports are in center and the beam is continuous over the other supports also, then this is called a continuous T-beam. The beam is continuing over the supports. In this case, in different area, different type of bending moments will develop. Let me show you. Suppose this is a continuous beam. This is a continuous beam. Let me take this one. Continuous T-beam. This is the flange portion. This is web portion of the T-beam. From this side, we will, if we look, then it will look like this. Cross section, if we look, the cross section will be like this. This is the cross section of the beam. The flange is at top, this is flange, and the web portion is at bottom, this is web. Where are supports? Supports are one support is here, one support is here. So how this beam will bend? This beam will, and here this beam is continuing. It is not ended here. The beam is continued at this location also. So what will be the bending moment diagram? Can you tell me? The BMD for such beam will be like this. It will have some negative moments also, and it will have some positive moment also, then again negative, and then again positive. So in this portion this is positive, in this portion this is negative, in this portion this is negative. Okay, these are the 2 points that are called point of contraflexure. Point of contraflexure, point of contraflexure. So if I show a line from this point of contraflexure over here and over here, this T-beam will behave as for positive bending moment in this area. Here is also a point of contraflexure. Here is also a point of contraflexure. See, I will show you the behavior of this same beam, how it will bend and what will be the effect of this positive and negative bending moments. Understand in this way. This was your beam. In this negative area, the beam will bend in this manner. This is the bending pattern of the beam. Over here also, the beam will bend like this. But in this portion where it is positive, the beam curvature will change and it will bend like this, positive. Now understand, suppose this was the flange line. These were the supports. These were the supports. Over support, it will bend like this. Here also, this is another support. Over support, it will bend like this. So if I take different cross section, this is point of contraflexure, these are point of contraflexure from where the bending direction are changing. In this portion, if I show the neutral axis location, suppose neutral axis is this line like this. This is neutral axis. So you can see in this area, this portion have become tensed. So you will get tension at top in this area, and you will get in this portion these are compressed. So this is compression at bottom. Same behavior is here, tension at top, compression at bottom. What about in this portion? In this portion we have, let me draw it again. In this portion we have this portion is right. So in this portion we have tension on this side, whereas compression on this side. Compression is at top, tension is at bottom. So between these 2 points, your beam will behave like a T-beam because your flange will be in compression, but in this area it will not behave like T-beam, it will behave just like a rectangular beam. Sorry. If I show you the cross section, understand with cross section, this is your T-beam. What I am trying to show you, these are the 2 cross section. Now understand, if this is neutral axis, this is neutral axis, this is another neutral axis. See which area will be in tension and which area will be in compression. In this case, the top portion is in tension, bottom portion is in compression. Suppose I color it with blue color, compression, and this portion is in tension. If I color it with red, this is tension. What will happen? Where you will provide reinforcement, tension reinforcement you will provide somewhere here. This is equivalent to what? See, concrete area on tension side, this is tension and this is compression. So on tension side, concrete area is completely neglected. So what will become the equivalent cross section of this part? This part will become this portion of concrete you will consider. This portion of concrete you will consider because it is in compression. This portion of concrete you will neglect. You will consider just only the reinforcement on this side. So this is what type of section? You can say if this portion you have neglected, so it is just like a rectangular section. This is same as a rectangular section. And what type of section this cross section will behave? Here at positive bending moment, this cross section is here. I have taken a cross section at this location. Let us say 1 1. Then this is section 1 1. It will behave just like a rectangular beam. But if I take the cross section here 2 2, in 2 2, understand compression is this part. This part is in compression. This is top portion is in compression with flange, and bottom portion is in tension. If I mark it with red, this portion is tension. Where you will provide the reinforcement? You will provide the reinforcement over here. So what will be the equivalent area that you will use in this case? Understand? See the beam. Your beam on compression side will be used completely, because this is in compression. This area you will use, and on tension side you will neglect. So that area you will neglect, and you will have only reinforcement on this side. If I show that this concrete area that you have neglected is this much, whether you consider it or not doesn't matter. So this cross section at section 2 2 behaves like a T-beam. This behaves, this is same as a T-beam. So it is called a T-beam for positive bending moment. This is the area of positive bending moment. If I let it here, this is positive bending moment area, this is positive bending moment. Here your beam will behave like a T-beam. But in this portion of negative bending moment area, see this is negative bending moment. Here the tension is at top, compression is at bottom. So this will behave just like a rectangular beam. We don't design it like a T-beam in this portion. So such T-beam, when it is continuing over the support, behaves in a different manner. So in this case, there is a value the code have suggested. That value is called L0 value. L0 value is the distance between point of zero moment. That value in this case will be this value. Distance between these 2 points of contraflexure. In between this, because in between these 2 points only your beam is behaving like a T-beam. In other portion it is not behaving like a T-beam, it is behaving like a simple rectangular beam. So this value is called L0, and using this L0 we calculate a effective width of flange of the T-beam. In fact, see, if this total width is, if this is the T-beam, if I draw a bigger figure, let me take another page, I will show you. Suppose this is the T-beam. This is the T-beam. This is a isolated T-beam. This is only one T-beam, single beam, that is in longitudinal direction supported on two supports and it is continue over that support. That's why it is called continuous. See what will be the difference between a continuous and simply supported, that I will tell you in next figure. Here let me explain. This is width of flange in portion where it is acting like T-beam. Suppose this is the location of neutral axis. Now in this case we don't consider this full width of the beam. See, this is total width of the flange. Like in this question, it is 2500 mm. But we will not consider this 2500 mm. We will consider only a limited portion of the width of flange. Width of flange is not considered total width. We consider only this portion of the width of flange as flange width for analysis purpose. This is done due to some different behavior of the beam, because the stress in flange is not constant everywhere. That's why we consider only a limited width. That width is called BF value. That width is called BF. This is called BF. BF is called effective width of flange. B is total width of flange. Total width of flange. Whereas B effective, BF is called effective width of flange. Effective width of flange. And we have to consider only this value, B effective, in analysis. This is the tension area. Here we will provide only reinforcement. These are the reinforcement, maybe whatever number. So your effective beam, you can just forget these two portions, this one and this one. You can forget. And just consider this central portion of the beam without considering these two parts. These two parts we are not going to consider. We forget these two parts. The reason is the stress is not constant everywhere. In this case, I will tell you the reason why we don't consider. See, if I take the cross section of this T-beam like this. In this case, the stress diagram that you know, this is wave portion. On this wave portion, your stress diagram will be like this. In limit state method, it will be constant up to some area. Suppose here is neutral axis, then it will become parabolic up to this. This value of stress is constant over here. This is, the value is how much? The value is 0.45 FCK. We consider for design purpose. But this value will not be same everywhere. In fact, this stress here will become very less, very less. Here also it will become very less. It may be this much only. And this stress value goes on increasing like this and decreasing like this. Goes on increasing like this and then decreasing like this. In this way, you get the stress diagram. So, stress values are not constant in flange. To consider this effect, how to consider the effect of a varying stress in the flange? What we do? We consider a limited width of flange only this much and this much, and for which we will make the stress diagram of flange a rectangular stress diagram. If I show you that what we are going to consider, we will consider a uniform stress diagram. Whatever is the value here, the same value we will consider here also. A uniform stress diagram will be considered even in this portion. also we will consider the same value. Of a stress diagram, you can join it like this. So a box type of a stress diagram will be considered, that will be a constant value everywhere, that will be a constant value everywhere. So for whatever portion of this width, we can consider a uniform stress diagram. That width is called BF. That width is called BF. The blue portion is the stress diagram actual, that is for full width B. This is for full width B. This is for full width B, the white portion of the T-beam shown here. Blue diagram is the actual stress diagram, and red diagram is the assumed stress diagram that we consider to calculate different values. So for that, BF value we consider, so that a uniform stress in the flange portion can be considered for analysis. This is just to make the analysis simple, just to simplify the analysis, we consider it. Here will be reinforcement. Here will be reinforcement. In this reinforcement, T force will be considered, tension force. Here compression force will be considered. One compression force for web portion and one compression force for flange portion. For this portion and for this portion. So you can say C1, if you add both of these two, let's call it C2, then C1 plus C2 will be equal to T, and using this we calculate different values. Okay. So this is the reason why we don't consider the full width of the flange, because the stress diagram is not constant, it is partly parabolic, you can say, and that's why to consider the effect of this we get a BF value. So how to calculate the value of this BF, effective width of flange, so that the stress value can be considered constant from this point to this point, and we can calculate the forces very easily in this flange. Okay, I hope you have got it. Now let's see how we calculate the values of effective width of flange. For this, Indian Standard Code have given these provisions. These provision you need to understand. These are the two formula for isolated T-beam. These are the two formula for isolated T-beam and L-beam. I will write separately, then you will understand. I am sorry. Here these two formula are for this is not for okay. Right. So these are the two formula. These are the two formula that are used for isolated T-beam. For isolated T-beam, the formula is L0 by B plus 4 plus BW. I will write it separately. And for L-beam, it is 0.5 L0 divided by L0 by B plus 4 plus BW. Let me explain in the figure itself how we consider different values. See, there are two type of beams. There are two type of T or L beams. Number one is called isolated. Which one is isolated? Isolated means a single beam like this, just a single beam. This is a single T-beam isolated. Suppose it is supported over these supports. These are the supports. here is another support. Okay, then this is called a simply supported isolated T-beam. Isolated means single, isolated का मतलब है single T-beam. So this is simply supported isolated T-beam. Simply supported isolated T-beam, or it may be continuous also, whatever case we have discussed just now. This is simply supported, but if the beam is just like this, the same single beam, isolated beam, if the supports are not at ends, if the supports are at somewhere in between, and the beam is continuing over the supports, then this is called a continuous T-beam. Are you getting the difference? Here supports are at ends, here supports are at in between the two portion. So this is called a continuous T-beam, this is called a simply supported. This is a continuous T-beam. Now understand different formula. For isolated T-beam, I was discussing that effective width of flange value, effective width of flange, we were discussing this value. This B effective, let me write the formula for T-beam. For T-beam it will be equal to L0 by 4, L0 by B, actually it is not 4, L0 by B plus 4 and plus BW. L0 by B plus 4 and plus BW. This is the formula for effective width of flange. Now here understand what will be L0. L0 is equal to, in this case L0 will be simply the effective span of the T-beam. For a simply supported case, L0 is nothing but L effective. But for a T-beam, because the bending moments are positive in between in a central portion only, so for this case the L0 value is a little bit less than L effective. It will be 0.7 times of L effective. That I can show you in that figure we have discussed. Yes, this one. This is L0, this is a continuous beam. So for this L0 it will be equal to 0.7 times of L effective. L effective may be according to the distance between supports, the L effective value will be decided, and L0 value will become 0.7 L effective in this T-beam. I hope it is clear. So now come back to that figure. This one. Here L0 is 0.7 L effective. Here for simply supported, both are isolated case because only a single beam we can view here. So here the formula will be same for both of these two beam. L0 by B plus 4 plus BW, where L0 is L effective किसके लिए? Simply supported के लिए, and L if 0 will be equal to 0.7 L effective, for which this will be for a continuous T-beam. Okay. Now according to this, now we will proceed in that question, and we will calculate different values. So let's come back to that question and let's find out the values. This was your question. So it is flange width is given 2500. This is a continuous T beam. Continuous T beam hai, but a single beam we can view here. So what will be L0 value? L0 value will become 0.7 times of L effective. So let's start our question. There itself we will understand different values and we will write. So the solution of this question number 7. Now we will discuss the question how to solve it. So first value is, let me draw the figure of that beam. This is capital B, 2500. Out of this we will consider only an effective width of flange, whatever it is. This value will become B effective. Here are the reinforcement, different reinforcement. It is 12 number of which dia? 12 number of 28 mm dia. 12 number of 28 mm dia. So we will calculate area of steel for this. This is depth of flange. DF value is what? DF value is 160 mm. Okay. BW is 500 mm. And what is the effective depth? Effective depth is 800 mm. So this will be effective depth of the beam from top to center of reinforcement. This is 800 mm. Okay, for this beam we have to calculate different values. First value we will write L effective of this continuous beam. This is a continuous beam. This is a continuous beam. For which L effective is equal to, what is in the question? L effective 12 meter. So consider it 12 meter. What will be L0 value? First of all, L0 will be 0.7 times of 12. It is equal to 0.7 into 12. It is 8.4 meter. So what will be the first value? Effective width of flange. Effective width of flange BF is equal to L0 divided by B plus 4 plus BW. Let's calculate its value here itself. So this value will become L0 is 8400 divided by capital B is 2500 and plus 4 plus 500 mm. So this is equal to 8400 divided by 2500 plus 4 and plus 500. The value comes 1641.3 mm. Okay, so we can take a round figure, say either 1641 mm. Let's take this value 1641 mm as effective width of flange. BF value that we will consider in the analysis. Okay, so this was the first part of the question. A, effective width of flange be calculated. Now come to second part. Next, number B, other values are almost similar to whatever we did in previous cases, that XU limiting we will calculate. First of all, just to compare the different values, XU limiting is 0. What is the grade of concrete and steel? M25 and Fe500 are the grade of concrete and steel. So 0.46 into D, D is 800 mm. 0.46 into D, K into D. So this is equal to 0.46 into 800. This is 368 mm. Okay. Now third value, we have to find out actual depth of neutral axis. Okay. Actual depth of neutral axis will be, first case we will consider, suppose we assume that XU is less than DF. That means we are assuming that neutral axis is in flange. Understand the case. I will tell you. So suppose this is your beam. Now it is B effective, B flange. You will forget the total width of flange. Suppose neutral axis is here, less than DF. This is XU, less than DF. This total value was DF. This was DF from this point to this point. But neutral axis is less than that. So this portion is in compression. This portion is in tension. Here are the reinforcement in different layer. Total area of steel is whatever. So what will be the stress diagram and what will be the force rate? It's very simple. It is just like a rectangular beam. Here it will be partly rectangular and partly parabolic. Here it will be directly a tension force T. You understand all the values here. C will become 0.36 into FCK into B is BF in this case and into XU, and T force will become 0.87 into Fy into AST. And if this is the case, then lever arm will become what? Lever arm will become same value, D minus 0.42 into XU. Okay. So these formula we can use if this case you have. So for actual depth of neutral axis, let's write number 1. We have assumed that XU is less than DF, and let's solve this value here itself. Let me write like this. So using C is equal to T, let's write using C is equal to T, we can write that 0.36 into FCK into BF into XU is equal to 0.87 into Fy into AST. So what will be the values? Put all the values here. 0.36 into FCK is 25 into B effective is 1641 into XU, and this is equal to 0.87 into Fy is 500 and into area of steel is 12 number of 28 mm dia. So what is AST? Total AST here is 12 into pi by 4 28 ka square. This comes 7389 mm square. So put it here, 7389 mm square. So what is XU? XU is equal to 0.87 into 500 into 7389 divided by 0.36 by 25 by 1641, the value comes 217.63 mm. So tell me, what is your conclusion? This value is not less than df. This is coming more than df, that was 160 mm. So in fact, whatever you have assumed here, that is not correct. What we have assumed here? We have assumed that XU is less than DF, neutral axis is in flange, but the value shows that XU is more than DF. XU value is more than DF. So this is not a correct case. We can write that assumption is not correct. Not correct. So we will go in next case and we will find out the values. So what will be in next case? Let's understand. See, next case may be of two type. Could have suggested different value. Now in this we have written first. So let me write second. Let me write second. Now this is your second assumption. Now let's assume that XU is greater than DF, because XU we are getting more than DF. But here again two cases develop. But DF, depth of flange, is suppose less than 3 by 7 XU. Now understand the case. In this case, two different area will develop over here. This is neutral axis, suppose. So we have two different area. Number one is this portion of the beam, that is web portion. Let me color it in this way. This is area is BW into XU, and for this the stress diagram is completely partly rectangular and partly parabolic. So for this portion we get a first compressive force, this is called C1, that will be equal to 0.36 into FCK into, देखो BW है इस पोर्शन का width, into XU, you will write the value. And suppose here is tension reinforcement. Suppose I concentrate total tension reinforcement over here, then in this portion you have 0.87 Fy and total tension force is equal to 0.87 into Fy into AST. Now see, this stress diagram have two parts. One is this rectangular portion and one is this parabolic portion. So if your flange portion, that is this portion of the beam, this flange portion and this flange portion, these are the two portions, the area are like this. What will be the area? Its width will be total width BF minus BW will be the total width. Depth is DF, and if this depth is within this rectangular portion, then the stress diagram in this flange will be like this. I have just superimposed the stress diagram. Same stress diagram, value will be same with a value of 0.45 FCK. So tell me what will be the force. In this, the force will be, this force is called C2, will be equal to area into a stress. A stress is very simple, 0.45 into FCK into area is BF minus BW into DF. Into DF is the area. BF minus BW into DF is the area 0.45 FCK is the stress. Lever arm for these two portions will be different. Like if I write lever arm for this first portion, that will be this one. Lever arm 1 will be D minus 0.42 into XU, as we have discussed earlier. What will be lever arm for this second force? This will act at center of this DF. That means DF divided by 2 you have to deduct. So lever arm 2, you can say it is equal to D minus DF divided by 2. So understanding these values, now you can write all the formula. It's very simple. C1 plus C2 is equal to T. This is your first formula. Understand? C1 plus C2. C1 is this value. C2 is this value. C1 plus C2 is equal to T. If you write, you will get the formula for actual depth of neutral axis. And C1 into lever arm 1 plus C2 into lever arm 2. If you write, you will get the formula for second moment of resistance. Okay. So we can use this formula and we can calculate the value. Let's do it here itself. I will write the formula here itself and let's solve it, whether we get the value or not in second case. So let's see the first formula. I can show here. You can see the formula here and we can write it completely. For actual depth of neutral axis, you can write like this. The formula is C1 plus C2 is equal to T. So let's write the formula for this. C1 is 0.36 into FCK into, see the formula also at top, and let's write values accordingly. See here, 0.36 FCK into BW into what? You have to write BW into XU plus, what is second? 0.45 FCK BF minus BW into DF. 0.45 FCK into BF minus BW into DF, yes. And that will be equal to what? On tension side, 0.87 Fy into AST. Let's write here itself. So this is equal to this value, 0.87 into Fy into AST. Okay, put all the figure here. So 0.36 into FCK is 25 into BW is 500 into XU plus 0.45 into FCK is 25 into BF we have calculated 1641 minus BW is 500 into DF is 160. This is equal to 0.87 into 500 into what was area of steel we have used in this, 7389. Let's use the same value, 7389. So what is XU? Solve this equation, you will get it. So 0.87 into 500 into 7389 minus 0.45 into 25 into 1641 minus 500 into 160 divided by 0.36 by 25 by 500. See, the value I am getting is 257.87 mm. Now let's check the condition. Here itself I will solve the second case. What is 3 by 7 XU? See, this value is coming more than DF. So your assumption first part is okay. But what about second part? 3 by 7 XU. Calculate. 3 by 257.87 is equal to 257.87. It is 110.52 mm. That means 3 by 7 is 110, DF is 160 mm. What happened? DF is not less than 3 by 7 XU, it is more than. DF is coming greater than 3 by 7 XU. So DF is not less than. आपने assumption में क्या लिखा था? look at the top. See here, you have written that df is less than 3 by 7 xu and xu is greater than df. This is okay, but this is not okay. So your assumption is not correct. Whatever you did here is wrong. That means this formula should not be used. So we can write here that assumption is not correct. We should do it considering the third case, that is called YF case. So now we will come to the third case. What will be that? Let's see. So third case is, now we will assume that xu is greater than df and df is also greater than 3 by 7 xu. Now you have the chance that you will get this case because यही case अब बचा है. This is the only case left. So understand the beam again, how we will write the formula. Now again this is your beam. Let me do it again. See, our case is such that this depth of flange is coming greater than 3 by 7 xu. So your neutral axis may be at such location, suppose it is here, neutral axis at such location that the stress diagram give you whatever case. First of all, it is rectangular portion and then it is parabolic portion. So your rectangular portion in this case is less. This is 3 by 7 xu and this df is more. So this df is greater than this value 3 by 7 xu. So in this case what happens, this flange portion becomes in rectangular portion as well as parabolic portion. So calculation we have to do in a different manner. Understand how to do this. So first of all you will consider this portion, that is web portion. Formula will be same. This is your first portion of the beam, web. For that, this is your complete stress diagram and this will be the C force. What will be C force for this? Let me write. C1 is again 0.36 into FCK into B into XU. Okay. Now for this flange portion, what you will do, because the stress diagram is not uniform, it is partly rectangular and partly parabolic. So to understand this, what we do, Indian Standard Code suggests that don't consider this total depth, consider only a certain portion like this. On this portion, consider this and this portion. Don't consider the full depth of the section. So what depth we will consider? We will consider a YF depth. For what purpose? Why you have left these two portions? These two portions you have left. We are not considering. This is just to, this area have been reduced so that for this portion we can just keep our stress diagram uniform. This will be our stress diagram for the flange portion. The blue one is for web portion and the red one is for, pink one is for flange portion. So for this we can show a second force, that will be C2. Can you tell me what will be the value? Because the stress is constant 0.45 FCK. width of these two portion again will be BF minus BW. This was BW, total was BF, so BF minus BW, depth is YF. So instead of DF, now you are using YF, for which a stress diagram is constant, and your formula will become 0.45 into FCK into BF minus BW, and into, in place of DF you will write YF. That's all. Here you have tension reinforcement. For that the calculation will be same in whatever layer. So this force is, again this stress is 0.87 Fy. This force is T is equal to 0.87 into Fy into AST. Lever arm for these two, C1 and C2, will be same as previous case. Let me write lever arm 1, the same value D minus 0.42 into XU, and what will be lever arm 2 for this pink portion? This lever arm 2 for this value will be D minus this depth YF divided by 2, because it will act at the CG of this portion here and here. The C2 force will act, and C1 force is acting over here, the CG of this stress diagram somewhere up, maybe here. This is C1 and these two are C2. So you know the formula, again the formula are almost same, and we can write down the formula. What is the value of YF here? Can you tell me? ये YF क्या होगा? This YF value as suggested by code is 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. Okay. So we will use this value and then we will calculate it. Let's see how to write the formula. For this case, we call it YF case. So I hope we are going to get the case in this YF case. Your formula will become 0.36 into FCK into BW is the first part, width, web portion, into XU, plus second part is 0.45 into FCK into width of the remaining is BF minus BW into YF. We will write YF will be this value 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF, and it is equal to 0.87 into Fy into AST. So this is your formula now. Put the values. 0.36 into FCK is 25, BW is 500 into XU plus this value, let me write in second line, 0.45 into 25 into BF is 1641 minus 500 into YF value is 0.15 into XU plus 0.65 DF. 0.65 into DF is 160. We can write it 104 mm. And this is equal to 0.87 into Fy into Fy. Let's write the value into 500 and into area of steel. Let's take from this previous one 7389. Okay, so this is 7389. So let's solve this. What is the value of X? So you can develop equation 0.36 into 25 into 500, ये वैल्यू है 4500 XU plus from here you will get another value in terms of XU 0.45 into 25 into 1641 minus 500 into 0.15. This is 1925.44, let us say, XU and this will be equal to remaining value. Let's write here. That value will become 0.87 into 500 into 7389 plus minus, let's say, minus 0.45 into 25 into 1641 minus 500 into 104. The value is coming 1879245. So what is XU? Solve. XU is equal to this value divided by 4500 plus 1925.4. The value I am getting is 292.47 mm. Okay, 292.47 mm. This is the value that we have got. Now let's check different assumptions, what we assumed, whether it is correct or not. See, your first assumption was that XU is greater than DF. Is it okay? XU, that is 292.47, is greater than 160 DF. Yes, this is okay. Second assumption, let's calculate 3 by 7 XU. This will be equal to 3 by 7 into 292.47 is equal to 3 by 7 into 292.47. The value comes 125.34. This value is less than DF. Less than DF. So DF is what? So DF is greater than 3 by 7 XU. So we can say yes, this assumption is also okay. And third, one more, that XU must be less than XU limiting. Understand the value, XU is 292.47, and what was XU limiting? That we have calculated earlier, 0.46 into 800, the value was 368. So it is less than this value also. So we can say yes, it is an under enforced section. It is an under enforced section, and we have got everything correct in this case. So we can calculate moment of resistance using this formula, this value, and we will get the value. Let's see what is the value. So the final value will be maybe number 4 or whatever. Number is not important. Moment of resistance. We are mainly concerned with these values. Mu. Now see, it's very simple to write down the formula. Your formula is C1 into lever arm 1 plus C2 into lever arm 2. What is C1? C1 is 0.36 into FCK into BW, because this is for first wave portion, into XU, और इसका lever arm कितना होता है? Lever arm is D minus 0.42 into XU. See, I am writing with different color so that you just understand the values correctly. See, the third is C2 force. C2 force is 0.45 into FCK is stress. The width of the section for flange is BF minus BW into YF, because this is our YF case, so we will write YF. If it is DF case, we will write DF. And what is the lever arm for this? Lever arm for this is D minus this YF divided by 2. So you need the value of YF here before writing the next. So let me write, the formula is this, here first calculate the value of YF. YF is equal to 0.15 into XU. What is XU that we have calculated? XU is 292.47. 292.47. Here this is written 45. We can change it. 292.47. It's okay. So let's use this value here. 292.47 plus 104 by 0.65 into DF. So this is equal to 0.15 into 292.47 plus 104. It is 147.87 mm. So use this value, and obviously this value must be less than DF, that is 160 mm. So this is also okay. Now use this formula, write down the value. Mu is equal to, see this is your formula, and put all the values. 0.36 into FCK, you can tell me 25, BW is 500 into XU is 292.47 into D is 800 minus 0.42 into 292.47 plus second line 0. Plus 0.45 into FCK is 25 into BF minus BW 1641 minus 500 into YF we will use this value 147.87 into D 800 minus 147.87 divided by 2. Divide this total value, the sum of these two values, put it in bracket, another bracket, and 10 to the power 6. So what is the total moment of resistance that we can calculate and write? So let's see. I will calculate the value 0.36 into 25 into 500 into 292.47 into 800 minus 0.42 into 292.47 plus 0.45 into 25 into 1641 minus 500 into 147.87 into 800 minus 147.87 divided by 2 divided by 1 exponential 6 is equal to, it is coming double to 69.36 kilonewton meter. You must remember that this is factored value of MR. Factored value. If you want to understand the working moment of resistance of the section, then it will be Mu divided by 1.5, that is double to 69.36 divided by 1.5, it is equal to double to 69.36 divided by 1.5, it is 1512.9 kilonewton meter. So whatever value you are asked, you can show. This is your final value. This question is over. I hope you have understood the T-beam in detail, how we get the moment of resistance. We have solved all the three cases. Whatever case you get, you can solve your question according to that. Thank you.